Hey guys, today we'll be going over a list of everything you need to discuss with your supplier. So let's assume that you've found your product and you've chosen your supplier already. So now what do you need to discuss with them? So some of these things might be very obvious to you, but some might not. And some of these can lead to unexpected costs if you don't talk about these with your supplier. So first things first, the sample. Do you want a sample? Does your supplier provide a free sample or do you have to pay for it? So if you have to pay for it, what are the product costs and what are the shipping costs? Usually these are very high, so make sure that you talk about these with your supplier. The product itself. What is the price for different MOQs, meaning minimum order quantity? So, for example, 500 units, 1000 units, and 5000 units. If you get a price for all of those, you will get a really good indication on how much money it will save you if you acquire economies of scale. So the dimensions and the weight, these will be a huge determinant for your shipping costs. So talk about these very early, because if these are too high in your opinion, then you might not want to go with this supplier or with this product after all. And you also have to put this information in your product description, so it's a good thing to know. The manufacturing time, how long does it take to manufacture the product? Um, this is also a good thing to know, because if this is your first product, you can take the manufacturing time uh, plus the shipping time to create your listing and to create the keywords, etc. So for the customization, can you private label your product and does it lead to higher cost? In some cases it does, but in some cases it doesn't. In my case it did not, but there were two restrictions for me. The printing area was very small, so I made a logo which was too big, so I had to make it smaller to be able to put on the product. And the second is I was only allowed to use one color. If I wanted to use multiple colors, that would increase the cost, which I didn't want because it was my first product. Different material or color. So ask your supplier whether they provide the same product with different material or with in different colors, because my supplier only put up an image on their Alibaba supplier page for one color of their product, but they were actually selling multiple colors. So it's always good to ask if they actually do provide um, options for those. And last thing for the customization is, are you able to customize your product package? The first thing your customer will see when they receive your product is the product package. So most of the time the package provided by your Alibaba supplier will not be that great. So make sure you customize these and ask them to print them for you, and if this will lead to extra cost or not. So regarding shipping, you have air shipping and sea shipping. Air shipping is a little bit more expensive, but it is faster as well. Sea shipping is slower, but it's cheaper and usually takes a bit more effort because you have to deal with freight forwarders, etc. So you want to know the total cost from door to door, so that you're not come across the fact that your product might lie around some airport which is nowhere near your home address, and you have to deal with someone that's going to pick your product up from the airport. You want to know the total cost from door to door and everything involved. Next up, quality control. Are you going to do a quality control or not? Totally up to you. I would recommend doing this if you have a complicated product. If it is really simple, like a garlic press, don't do it. It's just extra cost and not worth it. So the shipping time. So what is the shipping time and what happens when they ship your product out later than the date agreed to? So try to get them to agree to a penalty per day they are late. So for example, $100. So if they're 5 days late, this will be $500 discount for you. So the supplier address, something that you have to put in the shipping queue on Amazon. So a good thing to ask them. The track and trace code. Always ask for a track and trace code so you know exactly where your product is. So regarding the labeling, you need to understand the difference between a UPC code and an FNSKU label. FNSKU stands for Fulfillment Network Stock Keeping Unit, and that's basically what will be generated from Amazon whenever you put in the UPC code. So you can buy a UPC code from GS1 or instantupccodes.com. All you have to do with the UPC code is just put it in here, the product ID, and whenever you're creating your shipping plan, not earlier, you'll be provided with an FNSKU code, which has to be put on every single product of yours. So the printing cost. Um, sometimes they do charge you money for this, but sometimes they don't. In my case, the first shipment that I had 100 units, which required 3 boxing labels, which I will get to in a second, and 100 FNSKU labels. So they charged me $1 per label, which came down to $100. But now they bought a printing machine, which made it very easy for them to print the labels. So they didn't charge me any money for the second shipment for the printing cost. So the shipping box labels. So I'll quickly show you a picture of the FNSKU label and the shipping box label. So this is what an FNSKU label will look like. And this has to be put on every single product of yours. And these are the shipping box labels, completely different to the FNSKU labels. Make sure that there's one on each and every single box that's going to be sent to the Amazon FBA warehouse. For the payment, usually you can do either pay full price upfront or pay 30% upfront and 70% after the shipment. Whether the second option is possible depends on the quantity of units you buy. So for the payment method, just ask them which payment method they prefer. In some cases they allow PayPal, but PayPal charges fees, so in most cases they want a bank wire transfer. And last but not least, pay them whichever currency they want. So if they want to be paid in dollars, even though they are located in China, make sure you pay them in dollars and not, for example, Hong Kong dollars. There's a difference, so just keep this in mind. Alright, so this file will again be uploaded to my Facebook group, which you can see here is the Amazon FBA Scientist. And that was about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.